Hello YouTube. This is going to be a different video than the kind I usually make. I don't usually make manga review videos just because there are so many other people on YouTube that do that kind of stuff and they're better than me at doing it. But I really wanted to talk about Barefoot Gen by Keiji Nakazawa. Um, I've not looked around on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure that not many people have actually reviewed the manga. This is a series that's pretty hard to get a hold of. And I just finished this series and I really wanted to share my thoughts on it. So I don't know how many of you know, but Barefoot Gen is a manga series about the atomic bombing of Hiroshima as seen through the eyes of this boy right here, Gen. And this story is essentially a autobiographical story of about the author's life, Keiji Nakazawa, because as a kid, the author was actually in Hiroshima, and he was like 6 or 7 years old when the bomb dropped, and he lost a lot of his family, and this is basically his life story. These 10 volumes are basically what happened to him. He did say there's sort of an introduction in here, and he did say that some of the things in this manga didn't happen to him, but he knew people that this happened to. So he was like, well, I'm just going to put it in here because in this series, he's really trying to show the suffering that the survivors of the atomic bombs went through. And so there is a lot of things in here that are true from his life, and even the things that didn't personally happen to him are sort of true in the sense that he saw someone else deal with this. And this is a really powerful manga. Down here, there's an introduction by this guy named Art Spiegelman, and I'm bringing this up because, first of all, Art Spiegelman is incredibly famous in his own right. You should look him up. He wrote a incredibly popular comic book or 2 volume graphic novel thing called Mouse, Maus. I would look that up. And it's sort of along the same lines as this because it's a telling of his father's journey during the Holocaust as a Jew and escaping like the concentration camps or just living with it. So it's very similar to Barefoot Gen. But the reason I'm bringing this up is in his introduction to Barefoot Gen, Art Spiegelman, his very first line, the very first thing he says is, if you can see it right here, is Gen haunts me. And that's the kind of manga that this is. If any of you have read Bakuman, Barefoot Gen was mentioned in Bakuman as Mashiro's favorite, or Mashiro's, what Mashiro thought was the best manga of all time. And he said that he couldn't fall asleep after reading it. That's the kind of series that this is. Volumes 1 and 2 that really deal with the bomb dropping, like I could not read that before I went to bed. It just made me too upset. And there are many manga that you will pick up and you will read, and it's entertaining and it it makes you feel good, like Naruto, Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist series that I really really love. Even the series like Death Note, even though Death Note's kind of dark, you can read it and you are entertained and it just makes you happy. This series will not do that. This series, as Spiegelman says, will haunt you. This will show up in your dreams, and it's just a very, I'm gonna say accurate, even though I have no real way of knowing how accurate it is because I was not alive during that time, during the bombing of Hiroshima. But it's a very vivid depiction of what life was like, and it's just a story of Gen and as he struggles to survive after the bomb. And the series is 10 volumes long, and the bomb was dropped in 1945, and the series ends in like 1953, around that time. So 8 years pass in the story, and even like all those years later, they are still suffering, and the reason they're poor, the reason they can't get enough to eat, basically is because of the bomb. And just reading this series, it really makes you think about your own life and how easy some of us have it. Even I'm not rich, but I don't wake up every day and think, am I going to be able to eat today? I just sort of take for granted that I can have food. And even though times have certainly changed since 1945 and 1950s, or 1970s, even when this guy was writing it, a lot of these issues still apply today. And I don't want to make this a video about like a debate whether we should have dropped the bomb or not, or whether America should have dropped the bomb or not, or just various things about war. But I really would recommend this manga. It is incredible. It really messes with your mind. It makes you think about things that you never thought about, and the characters in here are great. There are so many characters in this story, and I will say not all of them make it, and it's very emotional. And even though one criticism that I could say is, or I do have about this manga, is it kind of goes on a little bit too long. And what else is going to say? It goes on a little bit too long, and some of the little story arcs feel very similar, but it's well worth the read because the characters are entertaining. There is a little bit of humor, and just to see the progression of these characters as they try to rebuild their life after the bomb over these 10 volumes is just incredible, and it's a really well written story. The art is very cartoony, so I guess that's something that I guess you would love it or hate it. It's very Osamu Tezuka like. It even says, the author even mentions in an intro to these volumes that he was influenced by Osamu Tezuka, so there is a lot of I guess reference to that in the style. So I kind of like the art. You get used to it after a while. Some of the characters' faces look the same, but for the most part, the characters that really matter, the main characters, do stand out, which is good. And I guess as I was saying, the story sometimes gets a little bit repetitive, but I did like seeing all these characters grow up and just watching them sort of develop. Because you are really on a ride with these characters as they grow up and as they face all these different challenges. The other thing I wanted to show you was, this is volume 7 right here. I wanted to show you just some of the drawings of when the bomb fell, just because these will absolutely just terrify you. And it's times like this I'm thankful that the artist is not super good, or the art is not super good. Some of the art in here is just terrifying. Just the depiction of what it must have been like to be in Hiroshima when the bomb fell. And it's moments like this in the story when you want to close the book and you don't want to finish it. Like you want to cry. And I really recommend this series. As I've said, it's not a series that you will read and it will make you happy. It will like you will. It's not like Naruto, where like it gets you pumped up, or like a sports manga where like you feel energized. This series makes you think about your life, and just about how this character, again, no matter what circumstances he's put through, he always manages to look on the positive side. And this is, for the subject matter, a very optimistic manga. Nakazawa, he really, I guess, he really does believe that this manga can sort of help show people that in his mind that the bombs were wrong, and that if you just persevere you can get through anything. So in that sense it can make you feel good in a way, just because you sort of look again, you're like, well, if he's able to overcome all these challenges, then what I'm facing in my everyday life is not that bad. I feel like I've rambled on for about 10 minutes now, just basically. So I guess final points. If you can find this manga, it's you should buy it. You should read it. Even if you can find it online, I would still recommend reading this any way you can. I'm not saying to steal it. I'm not saying to like kill people for it. But like, if you can find it, I recommend reading this. This is a series that I think everyone should read, and it's a series that will stay with you. You're not going to forget you're not going to forget Gan. You're not going to forget this story. Certain scenes, like the images I showed you of the people with the bomb, like the art in here, will just stick in your brain. And this is a really powerful series that I think deserves more attention. There are some animated movies and some live action movies that I have not seen. So maybe those also carry the same weight that this one does. The Studio Ghibli film Grave of the Fireflies is often compared to this, because they both deal with similar subject matters. And that's a very rough film. I've seen that twice. I should probably wrap this video up. So I guess anyway, closing statements. Barefoot Gen, you have to read this manga. It's incredible. It will haunt you, but it is well worth the read, and I highly recommend it. So very quick sort of standard YouTube thing. Please subscribe, but also let me know in the comments section if you like these manga reviews, because I've read tons of manga and I'd be happy to share my thoughts on them. And also let me know if there's any way I can make these reviews better. And bye.